Well, my name is Aldo. I'm a radiology resident at Mexico City, and I started this program 2 years ago. And well, I decided to be in this program because I'm doing radiology, and I think we need a better research background. Well, normally we are in a clinical environment and we only use our imaging techniques for diagnose. And everyone is interested in research, but nobody does a proper research. We only see some cases and we can make some case reports, some reviews about the subject, but we cannot do a proper clinical trial. And it's very difficult to get a clinical trial approved by an ethics committee. So the good thing about the program is that we get too much information about how to do a clinical trial properly, how to do research properly, and that helps us to have a more scientific background. Well, now that I have more experience in radiology, I think it's very, very interesting what we can get in this program because, well, 1 year ago I was very new in radiology, so I only had some theoretical information. Now that I have to take care of patients and I have to interpret many studies, now that I have more scientific information, I think I can understand things a little bit more, and I can have much better ideas for research. Well, first of all, I can understand all the techniques a little bit more than my other peers. I can, for example, when somebody tells me, okay, let's do a scientific project, I can see if that has a future or not, if it is worth doing. And for example, many people just want to do some research, but they don't have the basic knowledge to do it. And when you are in this program, you have all the basic information just to do a proper research project. Well, in the first semester, I did neuroanatomy, anatomy, and statistics. And statistics, well, those are difficult, but the good thing is that they teach you which statistical methods you should use in imaging. It's not the same as clinical research. For anatomy and neuroanatomy, well, of course, if you're doing radiology, it's going to be very helpful. You can get some basic anatomy information, and also you see anatomical variants. So you can, if you're working at the hospital, it's worth it because you are seeing, for example, CT scans, MRI scans every day. So if you're studying the anatomy and neuroanatomy courses, then it's going to be very helpful. Right now I'm taking the cardiovascular imaging, study design, and translational imaging courses. And cardiovascular imaging, well, it's very interesting because it's normally, well, speaking about Mexico, we do too much imaging about the abdomen, thorax, but we don't focus very much in cardiovascular. And with this course, I got more knowledge about new imaging methods, for example, MRI scans, calcium scoring, also anatomical variants, and that's, I think, a very, very good course. It's very nice to see all kinds of information about cardiovascular imaging. And then I did translational imaging, and that's a very interesting course because it's the bridge between experimental and clinical imaging. So how are you going to translate one study about mice and rats into a clinical environment? And I think it's very helpful. And study design, that's I think the most important one about this in this semester, because now that we have all the information, how are we going to do a proper research? How are we going to convince an ethics committee to approve our project? And I think it's a very useful one. Well, I would like to work in a great imaging company, for example, Siemens or GE, as an advisor, because they have many engineers, for example, that could advise them how to make their products. But I think with our program, we have another perspective, for example, the clinical perspective, and we could advise some companies if their products are worthwhile, if they're investing in something that it's worth it. And well, while being in radiology and doing in this program as well, I think I could do that, and I would really like to work in that kind of companies. Well, I think I should, even if you're in an online distance program, I think you should have contact with your peers. You can learn a lot from them. Many of them have very different backgrounds, and you should apply what you read in your lectures to your daily work.